Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be us discussing the secret origin of the Viscount Devil. If this is your first time coming to the channel, we release Crash Bandicoot content every weekend, usually Saturdays, sometimes on Sundays. We discuss lore, theories, we debunk some theories, we talk news, we do interviews, we do reviews. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, maybe consider subscribing. With all that said, let's jump back into the topic at hand, the secret origin of the Viscount Devil. Viscount only has one appearance in the Crash Bandicoot series. That was in 2006. The game was Crash Boom Bang. In it, he kind of starts the story off. He finds a map and he wants to find the big power crystal. So with his riches, he kind of cons everybody into doing the work for him. He offers a big reward to whoever finds the crystal, and that's pretty much everything we know about him. He is a purple Tasmanian devil anthropomorphic animal, and we have barely any information to go off of, but I think I have somewhat of an explanation of his origins, and I'm going to explain that to you right now. In one of the cutscenes, we're actually given a very small blurb of history for his family, and I'm going to read the cutscene for you right now. It says, about 100 years ago, there was an adventurer in search of the stone. It was my grandfather. He discovered the final key, but was never able to decipher the ancient map. He decided to go home to collect his thoughts. But on the way, his ship collided with a giant iceberg and sunk. My beloved grandfather was sent to a watery grave along with the final key. Get the final key from the sunken ship and bring it to me. Look for the final key in that sunken ship. So the game came out in 2006, and he said it happened about 100 years ago. So the sinking of this ship was about 1906. And if you look at the ship and listen to the history behind it, it's sunk by a giant iceberg. You come to the conclusion that the ship, based off the visuals and the history, is the Titanic. April 14th, 1912. So there's only a 6-year difference between 1906 and 1912. So it's about 100 years. So that all syncs up pretty well. So the Viscount's grandfather was in the Titanic and lived 100 years ago. That throws a big monkey wrench into the continuity of the Crash Bandicoot series. As far as we're aware, Crash, Coco, and the Cortex Commandos are the first anthropomorphic animals that were created in the Crash Bandicoot series. However, the Evolve Array wasn't the only way that the anthropomorphic animals were created. At the age of 8, Dr. Neo Cortex was trying to create the Cortex Commandos, but his Evolve Array didn't work properly. His two parrots, Victor and Moritz, were actually sent to the 10th dimension, where they transformed into the anthropomorphic characters here. It said they were transformed thanks to their environment in the 10th dimension, so it wasn't from Cortex's Evolve Array. We also met Evil Crash from the 10th dimension. In cut content, there was a good Cortex, but we never saw another Cortex character in the 10th dimension. So it's kind of believed that anthropomorphic animals exist naturally in the 10th dimension because they naturally evolve into anthropomorphic creatures. Whether or not you believe Evil Crash just came into existence from being in the 10th dimension is here nor there, because we do have evidence and proof that the evil twins were originally normal parrots and transformed into the anthro creatures. So even if fake Crash was created by some other, or evil Crash was created by another version of Cortex, existing in the 10th dimension can and still will transform other animals into anthros. So how does that tie back into the Viscount? If you want to believe that he came from the 10th dimension, you're more than welcome to believe that, but that's not what I was trying to get at. I was just explaining other processes of how we get there. So what I think, which would be a more realistic approach to come at this, is we know that Crash Bandicoot is counted as a son to Dr. Neo Cortex. In Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time in the flashback tapes. Cortex actually refers to Crash as Crashworth Cortex the First. So he gave Crash his last name, so essentially he is Crash Bandicoot's father. So what I believe is the Viscount's real grandfather was actually a human being who was on the ship. So at that point in time, his grandfather wasn't his grandfather yet. And at some point down the line, the Viscount was created by a scientist, thus making that scientist his father. And then he saw notes, or like a diary entry perhaps, while he was trying to find the big power crystal, that showed that his father's father, who was on the Titanic, also searched out said crystal. So I think the secret origin of the Viscount is actually pretty simple. He is just another mutated anthropomorphic animal, and his father's father was a human, in a similar sense that Cortex is Crash's father. The Viscount's grandfather was also a human. And like I said, if you want to believe he's from the 10th dimension, you can also believe that too. It's not confirmed one way or another what his actual origin is. So I think the two main options we have is created by a scientist or from the 10th dimension. So everyone, that's the theory about the Viscount Devil. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you learned something new, let me know in the comments section what you learned about the Viscount. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, let's put in a secret comment. We could just say purple. Purple for Viscount. Anyway, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Have a good night.